you're here to talk about your autobiography, My Life in Football. Why now, and how did you find that whole process of writing and going back through everything?
It was... I found it pretty tough. They've been asking me to do it for a few years, and I didn't think I was ready. I think I needed to make the people that I was going to have to mention in the book, I needed to make them aware that I was going to be brutally honest about what I wanted to talk about, and you know, that took some time. You know
Did that mean telling all your relatives, your children? Because you've got 8 children, haven't you?
Yeah, telling everybody that, you know, I mean to be pretty candid in what I'm going to talk about, you know. So it was quite good. It was
and
brilliant.
What was their reaction?
I was going to say, did people fall out with you over it, or say please don't do it, or don't?
Well, of course, yeah, because there was not long ago I done a kind of little documentary. It was Nothing to Something, where I was, like I say, I was brutally honest about certain things, what happened when I was growing up and all that stuff, and you know, the family that came down on me. But I wasn't really too fussed, because I wasn't angry, but you know what I mean. I had something to say, and when I was younger, you know what I mean, when you wanted certain people to, I don't know, come and give you that kind of support, no one was there. So all of a sudden, once I made it and everything started to go well, and then you started to tell people what really happened, all of a sudden everybody's got the hump. But like, I thought to myself, well, while I was going through it, you lot weren't there, so don't start telling me what to do now.
And was it hard for you reliving some of it? How difficult was that?
Well, it was pretty hard, because there was some really, how can I say, some real nasty things said on a regular basis, and some quite abusive times.
As a young child?
As a youngster, you know what I mean? Like, not too much in the way of affection-y that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? People took, like, the 8 kids. It's not like I wasn't searching for attention, but you know what I mean? I did like the ladies.
And was your...
No, I don't mean I like the ladies like that. Once a night.
If you had 8 kids and you know, and you got to 8, and then you thought, didn't you think maybe 6 kids was enough? Or
no.
Maybe 4 kids?
No, you don't think that while you're in the throes of what you're doing, to be honest.
It really interests me, though, that you said that you felt, because that was all around you, that had just become, that had sort of infiltrated your brain, you know, that's what a guy does. He has lots of different women and lots of different children.
When we was younger, that's what happened. It's still something that's endemic. Even in Jamaica, where my parents come from, that's something that just happened, and it still happened now. When I was growing up, the main fella that I used to move around with, he was someone that he had a few girlfriends all around the place, and he had a couple of children, and it wasn't something that I'd done purposely. I remember, like, when I was 19, and I met Sean's mum. She had Sean, and then she got pregnant with Bradley, and then we kind of split up. And then what happened was I started to see someone, and before she was, so I got 3
Was that to do with the fame, though, Ian? Like,
no, not at the time. No, I hadn't made it yet.
There's fame, there's money with footballers, and we still see it today. You know, a lot of people talk about young footballers seem to have a huge disrespect for women, because they can, because they've got so much money, and you know, they're in clubs, and they just go, yes, her over there. What do you think of young footballers now?
Well, at the time, I wasn't involved in football at that particular time, but yeah, you see that the way some of them are, but at the same time, when you do see how some of the girls in that, when you go out and see how they're acting and what they're doing, they caught that kind of attention, and the guys themselves, because they've got the pick and they've got everything, you know, they do have a flippancy towards the ladies, absolutely.
And football and footballers are all over the newspapers this week because of the allegations about Sam Allardyce. One of the things that the newspapers have printed is that managers, when they got players a pay rise, the payers had to give them a percentage of that back. Did that happen to you?
No, absolutely not. It was one of those things where you...
Well, you had a little bit of smile on your face.
No.
You mean 100% head and heart?
The thing with that, Janet, is that if a manager's done... And that's happened. We know that that's happened. I know that, and I've heard of that happening, because I know people who it's happened too, but... The manager's got to pull you and say to you, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this new contract, and you know what I mean. The reason why I'm going to do it is because you've got to give me this in return. You know what I mean? That's happened, and you hear Gary Lineker, and he's come out and he's rightly said that corruption in football's rife, and you're seeing what they're doing with Sam. And as much as I'm gutted for him, simply because it's taken such a long time to get this dream job. You know, I don't think he would have ever got a top 4 job, top 5 job. He's always been in and around the Boltons and the Sunderlands, and it's no disrespect to them, but it's not the top job, and he's got the top job, whether it's through default or not.
So having got the top job, why would he have behaved like that, do you think?
I could, you know, people say he was earning £3 million and, you know, it was a £400,000 deal for maybe half an hour at a time at £100,000. It's a lot of money to turn down, but at the same time, you can't say anything other than, you know, greed's got to play a part in that. You've got to say, he's mentioned the entrapment stuff and all that, you know what I mean? I try not to get involved in that side of it. The thing I look at it is his agent, what he said, he's known for 30 years, and his friend and his agent was known for 30 years, has not had, I don't know, he's not been able to look at Sam and seen how long it's taken to, he's known Sam for 30 years, to get to the position he's in, and he's put him into a situation like that.
It makes you wonder how much he was on.
Well, he was definitely on something, because the only way that deal, whatever was going to happen, whatever was going to transpire in it, he was going to get something out of it, because he's obviously the one that's brought Sam to the table.
Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces, and click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.